Okay, so I went in, I perfected the liner as best as I can, and I also gave myself another eyebrow so I don't just have like one purple eyebrow. So to do that, it's not like I have like a purple eyebrow pencil or anything. I just used a like lip slash like eyeliner pencil that I have that is safe to use anywhere on the face. So that's kind of how I got that color. So right now you can see like on this side I have this really intense shimmer. That is what we are going to go for next. So like obviously this kind of traveled maybe a little bit further than the other side did, but that's okay, right? So we're just gonna go in and add in our shimmers, and then we will be almost done. So I have some really intense highlighters, and that is what I use, but you have to be really careful when you are using really shimmery highlighters. I'm super guilty of this when I'm doing my own makeup, that I will put a lot of it in the center of my face, and I know better as a makeup artist that if I do that, I will usually just look greasy and oily, and honestly that is exactly what I end up looking like. So I really tried to just keep it like on like the high points of my cheeks. Under the brow, I did like a teeny tiny bit above my eyebrow, but for the most part, that was it, and I did a little bit more on the eye. So I have one that is actually pretty purpley, so I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to use kind of like a fluffier brush to sort of put that on. So it's a little hard because you have to hit the right lighting to get these kind of things to really show up, but we're gonna go ahead and kind of like cake that on, and then we'll often go in a couple different types of brushes and kind of like throw that on, and so that's what kind of, see, that's how bright it is when the entire camera just turns pure white. That's what you're looking for. That's how you know that you're done. So again, it's kind of hard sometimes to like see these colors. I don't know, I can turn my head a million different ways and it's probably not going to show up. And then I'll go somewhere else and it'll be like completely blinding, probably is exactly what will happen. But I found with highlighters, if you are using like these really shimmery ones, if you sort of like pat it in like that, that's when you start to get that like really crazy brightness. Or some people will actually use like setting sprays to apply these as well. So that is like one other option that you do have. And then for these smaller areas, I'm just going to go in with a smaller brush and apply that, just because I don't trust myself with such a giant brush to apply such shimmery, shiny things. Again, I'm just going to follow like right under my eyebrow. Can put a little extra in here. And so this is very shimmery, so my whole face is going to be super glittery after this. But as long as it's not anywhere that's going to read as like oil when I'm on stage, I think it's totally fine to do. And I think especially like in a lot of like dance shows or like Cirque du Soleil, you do see people with like a lot of glitter on. And so this is like a green based like highlighter. It's a little bit harder to see, I think, again, like with this lighting, and this is like one of those things with like these really like metallic-y shimmery highlighters, you like have to move your face in the right way to get it to show up. But I'm just using like the same kind of shades that I used in the rest of my makeup. So you can kind of just do that, and again, this just gives it like a little bit more, I feel like, without like overpowering your makeup at all. And then another kind of thing that I can do is use like a little bit of glitter. So it's hard to see, but I do have a tiny bit of glitter on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and add that on the other side as well. So I'm not going to like cake myself with glitter, but I think it's fun just to have little touches. I think a lot of times, like, I know like the show that I worked on for Cirque, like they had like little rhinestones and things like that. So I think it's just kind of like a way to like add some fun without it being too much. But you do want to make sure that you get something that's durable, because if somebody, again, if you just have loose glitter and you put that on, it's not going to stay in place. It's going to get everywhere. If that gets in somebody's eyes, it's really uncomfortable. So I'm actually going to use like a little like glitter gel. Krylon makes these in like a ton of different colors. I feel like they're super durable. They hold up if you're sweating. You can use them in hair. You can kind of do anything with them. My preferred way is actually to apply them with like a finger and dab them on. If I'm working on somebody else, I would use a brush, but I just sanitized my hands before I did this. And then I'm just gonna kind of like pat this onto the areas that I added highlighter. They make it in a ton of different colors. This is sort of like a green one, which is probably never going to show up on camera, but I just kind of used it to sort of go over everything. You have to be really gentle when you apply it, because if you put too much, since it is wet, I have had issues with it like pulling stuff back up. But I actually wear this just like in my regular life as like a highlight. I prefer though with these like gels that Krylon makes, and with like most glitter gels, I don't think they dry down on the eye that well. So if I'm gonna do something on the eye, that's when I prefer to either use like the setting spray like I did, or like a mixing medium, or some sort of like glitter primer, something that's just going to dry a lot faster, because I found with these gels, since they do take a little bit longer to dry, they tend to crease on people's eyes because nobody keeps their eyes closed for as long as they're supposed to. So I really like to just like kind of pat these onto like larger areas. So that's why like I love using them for like highlight or like other details on the face. They're great for hair. Like I've like braided my hair and like coated my braid in it, and it just like shampoos back out. So really I think like larger places, gels are great, but for eyes I would probably use something that's more of like a liquidy base. So yeah, so you could keep adding glitter, you could add rhinestones. I'm not going to do more than that just because I think that's a pretty good like basic shimmer that we have going on. So I'm just going to put on a lip color and then put on some lashes, and then we will be done with this one.